Alright, y'all. Audience. This is another episode of Parent Boulevard. This is what we decided to call it. Where we will be hearing from myself, Sana Kapumo, and my husband, Jason Kapumo. And likely most of this episode will have some remnant of Nisaya in the background. Because even when she's sleeping, as she is now, she makes sounds like you just heard.
I'm gonna be a star early.
Yeah. She's definitely the star of the show and the star of our lives. Um, but today we'll chat a little bit about going back to work after, you know, spending what a few weeks, however long you get to spend at home with your newborn, um, and how to navigate that. This is something that's of course different for every couple depending on what you do, how much leeway you have. Is your are you going back to the job you had? Because a lot of people, some people don't, right? Especially as moms, some people don't. So if you are going back, that's where the timeline really is necessary, because they may want you back, in 2 months, in 3 months, in 6 weeks, whatever. And also depend on what state you live in. There's so many different aspects that dictate or that play a role, at least, on when you go back, if you go back, right? Some people don't go back for a whole year, or after the first child just stay home until the last child graduate from high school or something, so it's really different for everyone. And there's, like I said, there's a lot of aspect to it. So, and it goes for both sides. And a lot of time when we talk in this on this podcast, you will hear us talk in the viewpoint of two parent household, right? Because that's what we have, that's what we know. We have, good old basic old school mom and dad and a child. That's what we have. So if you have a different um configuration of a family, just fit that into your family however you will. So on our side, like I said, it depends on what each parent does, right? So on our side, I'm a healthcare professional, I'm a PA, that healthcare blogger, y'all know what it is. My husband is a realtor, if you haven't heard me say it before. He's a realtor, so as a realtor he has more leeway, so to speak, on when he goes to work, how he works, and so forth, and for that matter, who he works with and where he works. And so, in a way, that's to for us in our household, that's a gain, or a positive thing, because he can do his work from anywhere now. I don't have that luxury, right? So, so to give you all some background, not background, but to give you a picture of what's going on for us. So, we live in California. In California, unlike many other states,
Unlike the states where we're from.
yeah. You do have, like, if you are a W-2, like I was before we got pregnant, you do have an allotted minimum of time that you get. The good thing about it is that the state is paying you, right? So as part of our taxes that we pay to the state, we pay, there's something put aside for that. So the state is paying for you to stay home. They pay a percentage of your income for you to stay home for a certain period of time, depending on how you give birth and so forth. So you don't have to look up to your employer and do the whole negotiating or all of that. No, because you get that this is your right as a Californian resident to stay home for a certain period of time. And so for us, we've decided to get all of as much as we can. So there's maternity leave, and then there's bonding time, which you don't have to take right away. But we decided to take the whole thing so I can stay home as long as I can, before going back to work, right? On the other hand, Jason can go back to work anytime. He could have gone back to work the next day if he, if he so chooses. Of course, he wasn't gonna do that. But what this week was week 6, right? So this was 6 week, and this week was his first week back. to work. And we were actually gonna have him go back to work last week, but he wasn't feeling so well, so we decided to just postpone it, spend more time. Literally, we spent most of like last week, as in the
The
2 weeks
first,
ago.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
essentially
first week of January.
the first business week of January. Yeah, the 8th. Yeah. So so we just decided to extend our babycation. And so we did that. But he went back to work this past week, the week that just ended. And so that was an adjustment period, and because for the first time I had to, not had to, but I was at home with Nesaya by myself. And so that was an adjustment period, because whereas I can say, when I'm breastfeeding her and I need something, I can say, hey honey, can you get me some water? Or hey honey, can you get me the remote? Or hey honey, I want to eat, can you make me a sandwich? Or fry some plantain for me, which is usually what I say, because I'm not a sandwich person. um you know I didn't have those luxuries when he was gone, right? So I had to be diligent about, okay, before I sit down and settle into the couch to breastfeed her, I had to make sure I have my breastfeeding pillow, I have water by my side, my phone is by my side, I have the remote if I want to watch TV, which I really use him now. A lot of time it was for me was I have the computer, because again I'm still in school, so I try to get some work done while I'm if I'm going to be sitting down for a long period of time. I have a blanket nearby so that if I get cold, I can warm myself up, things like that. So I had to be really diligent and mindful of that. That was the biggest change for me. The other thing was, what is what was I going to say? Oh, sort of get things done that I need to get done, like need, not want, right? So eating, eating, showering, number one and number two in the bathroom. All of those things that is literally, but I had to be mindful of that. So being able to do all of those things with the newborn, which again, this is all things I was doing before with her, because again, she was pretty attached to me, still is, but it's just I couldn't do it with assistance anymore, right? So that was that. So my ability to do things with one hand was graduated. How about that? I was able to do it before, but I really had to lean into it real hard this past week. My victory moment was that I made a tuna sandwich with one hand. Yes, I did. And I was very proud of myself because I was in the middle of I was about to make it, and then she woke up. She was sleeping. And I was able to put her down for a little bit, but she woke up too fast. Like, she only gave me 30 minutes. And so I was like, oh shoot, okay. So I grabbed her, put my breastfeeding pillow on, and I was like, well, I'm still hungry as hell, so I'm going to eat the sandwich. So I made the sandwich, sat down, eat it, and it's just what it was. It happened. So that's essentially the main thing, is taking care of a newborn as a one parent. On my side, at least, is just being very mindful of, before you settle down, make sure you have all those little things that you may need, because you may be sitting there for an hour or two, and you're likely to need things, and you don't want to have to be getting up and going and getting up and going. But the one thing I will say this before I let you give your thing, was I was ready to be like, okay, let's have Jason go to in the office again. I just told you he's a realtor, so he doesn't necessarily need to go in the office, but he does work with a team base, so to speak. So sometimes he does. So, but I realized after Tuesday, essentially, that as much as he wanted to be in the office and doing his thing, he also was missing his daughter, because I was gonna go to the farmers market, which if you follow me on IG, you may see my picture there. I really enjoy that. And he was like, well, I could work from home today and go to the farmers market with you. And I was like, okay. I was in, and for me
It
at
didn't go
first,
like that, but okay.
essentially that's, yeah. For me, I was like, I don't understand. Like, I don't think he's understanding that, you know, on this time we have about 2 weeks. I mean, no, 2 months, 2 to 3 months or so before I go back to work. He has to utilize this time and go in the office as much as he can before I go back to work. In which case, the role has to be switched, and I don't think he understands that. But then I thought about it a little bit more. By a little bit more, I mean like after 2 or 3 hours, I realized, oh, okay, he's also, missing his daughter and wants, to spend a little bit more time with her, as young as she is, before, instead of just full on being gone for like 6 hours, 5 days a week. And so as the week ended, what we settled down on was what, 2 weeks, 2 days at home. Yeah, so he'll be going in unless he needs to go meet up with the client or what have you. On average week, he'll generally go in the office 3 times and stay at home and work from home twice, so that he can still get that, so he doesn't miss too much from our little bundle of miracle. Because like they said, time does fly. I was spending some time last time reviewing and going back at some of the pictures, the birth pictures, and the first couple of days, and I was like, wow, she really has changed quite a bit. And it's only been 6 weeks, so I can't imagine 6 months and 6 years and so forth. But yeah, that was I am glad I made that realization for myself. Because usually that's not something that I'm like keen to. I'm usually like, okay, like, this doesn't make sense. Logic, look at the numbers. That's me. Try to finesse everything. But yeah, what was the first week going back to work for you, honey, besides everything I just spewed out?
I mean, firstly, I'll say, dads like pics too. So when you're at work, mom or grandma or whoever,
Oh, you
is
want me
watching.
to send you some pictures?
Yeah, dads like pics too.
Okay, all right. So thanks.
That's
I will send you
that's
some
what I'll
pictures.
say.
That's what you want. I'll send you some pictures
Um,
next week, starting
what
tomorrow. I got you.
what I'll also say is touchdown Detroit.
Oh wow,
And
wow.
we watching the Lions game, y'all.
Mhm.
So it's an
Oh, this
amazing.
one is dancing. His whole ass dancing. I love it.
And again, if you're from Detroit like me, and you've been waiting a long time to see the Lions not only
Mhm.
make it past the first game in the play, I mean, they did it back in '91, and I wasn't even born, so that's
Mhm.
how significant this is.
Two generations, I would say.
Literally,
Two generations.
I'm 30 years old, y'all, and that's how
And a
long.
whole baby on your lap.
Yeah, I mean, it took them longer than I've been alive to make it,
Mhm.
to the second round of the playoffs in the modern era. So, if you hear me cheering or jeering, it's not that I'm not here with y'all. It's just this is I mean, if you're from the city, like if you're from Detroit, if you're from Michigan, this just means so much right now. What it was like. Well, number one, I was so tired from the night before.
Oh
The
yeah,
the
because we went to a wedding that
right,
Sunday.
right. We went to a wedding, and I was up, but I was just like, okay, I gotta get ready and things like
Mhm.
that or whatever, right? So I did do, thankfully I did, a couple prep work things and everything like that to get myself prepared. I think I got to the office maybe about like 10 or something like that, which is fine. I mean, again, as my wife said, I work in real estate,
I think you were
commercial.
there more like 11, going on 12.
Says the person who wasn't in the car with me. So anyway, um, I made it in the office, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, Jason, we missed you." Blah 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 blah. People who knew about the baby, you know what I
Mhm.
mean,
Mhm.
and things like that. So that's great. And I mean, again, I was there, I was focused, but my heart was here with them, because I
Mhm.
know, in my opinion, how much my wife is putting in, with Nasiah,
Mhm.
and all the different sacrifices that she's making, and always try and ease the load as much as I can. I've always kind of been that way. You know what I mean? So, for me to not be there, like she said, for even the small things, like, hey, you need some water or whatever. And guys, I'll give you a pro tip, if y'all been married before in a relationship long enough or whatever, I try to anticipate, kind of what my wife is going to say, just so I, it can be like, ha, 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 I already got it. Ha, I already did it. You know what I'm saying?
You're getting better and better.
Can't just say I'm the greatest. It's okay. It's all right. I'll get my flowers. So anyway, no, it was interesting. It was interesting being there, and it wasn't, that I couldn't focus or, get my, work done or anything like that. It was an adjustment. It really was an adjustment to just be like, hey, um, it's interesting having, this person, that needs you for everything and not being there when they need you. So that's an interesting. Oh, there go Belle. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just.
We have the TV on the Lions game and it's quiet. That's what's happening.
And it's
so
just
he's very reactive to everything.
I grew up there, so I see different things. I'm like, oh my god, like this is amazing. The other thing I will say is, if you are a dad, and you do, and your work allows it, you do want to spend a little bit more time with your baby. Don't be ashamed of that. I know a lot of things, and I know it more because I went through it. I kind of knew it before, but I know it a lot more because I went through it. A lot of things are geared towards the dad. Towards the mom. I'm sorry. And there aren't a lot of things that are geared towards dads, at least without you having to put in some work to find it. Now, thankfully, one of the people that we met through the pregnancy, he told me about some dad group thing like that or whatever. And the interesting thing is, he's only been there one other time since the time that Nasaya has been, even before Nasaya was born. So that was good. It was good to be around other dads who have, been through here, heard about, have children or are going to have children. So that was a nice support. That was a nice support to be there and to be a part of those things. But, like I said, that, if you have the ability to, don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed to say, oh my gosh, I feel like I miss my baby, or I want to be with my baby or something like that. Because the thing I told Senna, when we were first starting out, I'm like, she's only gonna be this small, she's only gonna be this old, she's only gonna be this much today, and that's it. Tomorrow she'll be something else. Tomorrow, she may, I don't know, play with her belly button or something. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, and these are just moments that I didn't want to, if possible, not miss. You know what I mean? Because just to give y'all a little bit of our background, we didn't grow up with our dads in our home. You know what I'm saying? So I know that kind of, well, I won't say kind of, but it definitely fueled the drive to say, the type of father that I wanted to be, you know what I mean? Or and the father that I'm being, very, as much as I can, very present, very, if my wife, she'll co-sign, hopefully, but, just being, just being there, whatever that looks like for that day, whether that's doing the laundry, whether that's, I don't touch the dishes because that's her thing. So,
you don't touch it as much as the laundry. Let's put it that way. Because we did try that when we first came home. Okay, so I ended up having to do a C-section, right? So, with C-section, if you've had C-section out there, you know it. Or if you had loved one who has C-section, it's a different it's different journey for the recovery, right? The demands are different. So, at the very least, the first week, I couldn't do much besides hold feed Messiah. So he was doing everything, including the dishes, and I couldn't say anything about it, even though. And I don't think myself as being critical. Do you?
If y'all can see me,
the look he gave
Me
me.
and the Sire's face right
The
now.
look
Okay.
he gave me. Anyway, I had to be quiet because I couldn't say, let me just do it myself. Okay.
Is that not being critical? Did you not
Uh,
just answer your whole question?
Whatever. No, I don't think I did.
You, as only an atypical critical person could say.
So when I got a chance and I can finally walk around and bend without wincing, I took back over with the dishes because the dishes are just one of those things in the house that I'm very particular about. And so it's hard for me to trust other people with my dishes. It's very
What? It's
easy.
hard for you to what?
I shall not repeat myself.
Oh. Oh, see, that's for another episode,
I
y'all.
shall not repeat
We gonna
myself.
get into that.
Anywho, but no, I definitely co-sign. You are very helpful, very in the midst, in the middle of it all, and we appreciate it for sure. That's the only way this can work.
Yeah.
It's the only way this works, and it
And
makes things just much sweeter and much more enjoyable for sure.
yeah,
For shizzles.
what I'll say, to the dads out there, is that I think this is one of the I won't say one of the few times, but it's definitely one of those times where if you show up, and I mean really show up, do your job, do what you got to do, and just be there as much as you can. You may not get thanked all the time, but when it comes, you'll definitely have earned it. That's what I'll say. You know what I mean? And that just brings another level of joy. That is truly priceless.
It is because there is I can't say, and this is something we'll do a whole different episode on as far as how people view and do gender roles and how that plays into how that is maintained, right, in different times, such as newborn, such as somebody sick or what have you. Do you keep, if you have very strict gender roles, do you keep those strictness throughout, regardless of what it takes, or do you put a pause on it for that time period? But that's an episode for another time. But anywho, that's how the week's been. The first week back to work, for at least for the first week of that being back to work. And we still made it. We enjoyed the weekend. We spent Friday evening. We had what I consider a date night because we had a whole fun conversation where he was like, well, it's not date night when Messiah is there. And I was like, oh, okay, well, we're going to be missing a whole lot of date nights. But anywho, that's another conversation for another episode. But no, it was a good week. It was a good week. We had a nice weekend to follow up with it. And so today is the last day of the weekend of the week, and we are just chilling, watching the Lions game, talking to y'all, and like I said, chilling. Maybe make some food later.
Yeah. Again, y'all.
Y'all
know what it is. It's Healthcare Boulevard.
All right.
We out here.
All right.